Editors are here. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Now, before we get into the interview part of this, we shall commence with the musical part of this.
Lovely.
Let's play Munich, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm so glad I found this. I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I found this. I'm so glad I did. People are fragile things you should know by now. Be careful what you put them through. People are fragile things you should know by now. You speak when you're spoken to. Don't foresee. It breaks when you don't try. It breaks if you don't foresee. It breaks if you don't try. You don't try. People are fragile things you should know by now. Be careful what you put them through. People are fragile things you should know by now. You'll speak when you're spoken to. With one hand you call me. With one hand I'm still. With one hand you call me. With one hand I'm still. People are fragile things you should know by now. Be careful what you put them through. People are fragile things you should know by now. You speak when you're spoken to. You'll speak when you're spoken to. He'll speak when you're spoken to. He'll speak when he's spoken to. She'll speak when she's spoken to. Now, now, now.
Oh, my God.
Thank you.
Wow. Just to be clear, I've never seen this studio more full than it is now for you guys. Ever. This is amazing. Gosh, I should have charged tickets. Could have earned myself a couple of quid. Jeez. Right, Tom and Justin, we'll come and speak to you guys in a little bit. Thank you. That was absolutely amazing. Oh, I am blown away by that. Right, it's 33 minutes past 3. It's time for the news headlines. Helen Edwick is here.
First for news and the best live sport. This is BBC 5 Live. Nihal, Arthanayake.
And far more important than that is Tom Smith, Justin Lockyer here from Editors. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Nice to see you guys.
Nice to see you. Thanks
really
for having
nice.
us.
No, it's great. It's fantastic. And thank you for that. Oh my gosh. Seriously, like normally, so it's just the production team normally, who, not just in the sense of lack of importance, they're brilliant, important people.
Of course.
But this time, it was at least doubled or tripled the amount of people that came in the studio just to have that chance to be in close proximity.
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, yeah, it's very nice.
It's not the biggest gig you've ever done, to be fair.
No, but, well, it depends how you look at it, I suppose. How many people listening.
Well, there are hundreds of thousands of people listening as well, so yeah, it probably is in that respect.
Yeah.
Okay, now I know, Tom, that you're a bit of an REM fan. I had no idea how much of an REM fan.
I love REM. I mean, they changed my life, you know.
Okay.
There's that. They're that band for me, yeah.
Okay, and there's a lot of merch out there.
There is. There's merch and then there's merch.
And then there's super merch. Let's talk about the super merch that you are wearing. And may I say, it looked fantastic. I had to ask you about the scarf. I loved it so much.
It is a nice bit.
It's a lovely scarf.
Right. Tell us about
this. This was a present from Russell, who's the bass player in our band. So one rehearsal he came along with this, which I think it's maybe 2-3 years ago, REM released the 25th anniversary edition of Automatic for the People.
Yeah.
And I believe Michael Stipe is friends with Paul Smith. And,
Nottingham's finest.
And there's this kind of, Automatic for the People scarf.
It's just beautiful.
It's the size of a duvet.
I mean,
yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think editors could sell merch like this. I don't think we'd shift many.
Well, I don't know I just don't know how much need they have for parachutes, which is essentially what that could double up as. Okay, now look, we've definitely maintained now that you are a fan, but funnily enough, coincidentally, I was talking to Michael Stipe and Mike Mills this morning.
This morning?
This very morning.
I know they're doing the rounds for Monster, aren't they?
They are, and I asked them how it felt for them to know that they're an inspiration to you.
We covered one of their songs, I think.
Yes,
several.
well, we did a song swap.
That's right. That was good. It worked.
Yeah, that was
we
cool.
We did a good version.
You want to get through your career without embarrassing yourself and falling on your face. That's your first priority. And then after that, if we've managed to do things that people who came after us admired and decided to use as a template for, or any part of it as a template for their own progress, it's incredibly gratifying.
One of the things that I'm most proud of in that regard is that I can consider people like Tom Smith and Tom York and Chris Martin as my contemporaries. That there's a 10-year or maybe slightly more gap in our age, but when it comes to music is kind of timeless and kind of ageless. I also there are people like Patti Smith who I've become very close to, who are a generation before me or a part generation before me. I think she's got 13 or 14 years on me, but as soon as there's this understood appreciation for a common goal, which is presenting the present moment in a different way, that's the job of artists. It's a job of the work of a great musician, is to try to present who we are, what we are right then, and then push it forward in a way that's really great and optimistic maybe, and cathartic and progressive. To be able to consider these people now my contemporaries and to work with them is incredible.
Wow. That's like the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Should we just
the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Should we just have a moment for that, Tom?
Well, I remember when they covered Munich, actually. We were in a dressing room in Switzerland, and I was kind of expecting that. I wasn't expecting that. That was you pulled the carpet from under me. Yeah, that was wicked. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. We made sure that we asked him a question about your good selves, and he gave quite an answer.
Yeah. Wow. That's really. We toured with them.
You, Tom York, Patti Smith, Chris Martin in the same sentence, with Michael Stipe saying, "Yeah."
Yeah. What are you going to say? Oh God. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. We toured with them.
Justin didn't look convinced, by the way. I
was like, I kind of knew what that do to his brain. So I could see, I just imagining the inside of his brain just going in slow motion.
That must freak you out, considering before I played that to you, you said how much that band meant to you.
Yeah. They were that band, along with a couple of others, and Glastonbury Festival as well, that at that age of my life in the mid-90s, when I was discovering writing songs and I was discovering music, they were the band that came out, and they were like this other world, and because REM had at that point still had quite a back catalogue, I spent a lot of time just learning about the history of them and then also what they're doing at that time. And without bands like that and Radiohead as well, actually, I wouldn't have started to write songs, So that's nuts to hear that. It was not. We did tour with them. We were on stage with them a few times, and Mike Mills would always pass us vodka from the side of the stage. And then by the end of the night, we were on stage a couple of times. It was a blast, man.
Look, we can get you that recording if you want to use that as your ringtone or your alarm. If we can get that,
So going to go on a WhatsApp group.
we can get that recording to you. He's really freaking out by that, and understandably so. But look, let's get back to Black Gold, because a best of compilation is something, I guess, as a band you've wrestled with for a little while in whether this is the right time or not, and you personally.
Because it makes you feel old. You know, it's acknowledging the passing of time. And I think...
A large chunk of time.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people start a band to stay young, don't they? You know, it's that Lost Boys thing, to never age. So to have a best of out there is the complete opposite.
But it's also, as you pointed out, it's kind of the antithesis to moving forward. And when you're recording and you're in studios, even though you've had those conversations, is there ever a feeling that will take something away from the need as artists, as Michael Stipe just pointed out there, to project the moment, to do something about the moment, not the past?
I think it certainly took us a while to wrestle with it and come to terms with it. I don't think it would ever take away, especially if you do it in the right way or in a way that you're comfortable with. What I like about our collection is a bit like Substance by New Order. It has its own identity, and it can hopefully be an entrance point for maybe new fans to like, and then they can use that to go off and discover what we've been up to if they like what they hear. But I think not having it run chronologically and have it its own identity with a name, and it felt a bit more like a good way of doing it, And so actually maybe it is okay to go, all right, this is what we've been doing for the last 15 years.
Yeah. How difficult a process is it, Justin, to go through these songs? And I mean, there are songs that obviously have to be on there.
So if you split the band into two chapters, you have the first chapter, the first three records with their original lineup, Chris.
Yeah.
And then you have like the darkest days of the band. And then you have the second chapter where me and Elliot joined.
We've made 3 records in that.
Yeah. So there's this equal amount of records, the band so far. It's really interesting actually, because I'm the keeper of all the files and stuff, so I actually had to dig through and find all the mixes and stuff.
That sounds like a really grandiose title. Sounds something from Game of Thrones, isn't it?
Just a guy who
Justin, the keeper of the
just
files.
rummaged through hard drives trying to find the right mixes from the right, session and stuff for this whole.
Do you put a friar's kind of get up on when you go to access the files to the keeper of the files?
I just locked myself away in the room next to the rehearsal room and swore a lot because nothing's titled properly.
I've got an image of at the beginning of Ghostbusters, the old lady with the cart going.
That's me.
But the editor's vault is actually just a really big Tupperware box.
It is.
It's not quite as
full of odds and ends and leads that don't really work.
Old hard drives, yeah.
Keeping it real. How long did it take? I was at Radio 1 when you first kind of came onto the scene. How long did it take for people to not say the editors?
They still do.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Seriously?
Every day.
Yeah.
It's a daily thing.
That can't be.
They do. I mean, I can't, I never really did pick people on it, people up on it, because you just seem like a bit of an idiot if you do that.
No, but Label did, and understandably, that's the name of the band.
There's
right?
no the. Don't say that. But people still do, honestly. Yeah.
And you never had that. I mean, it didn't irk you that much from the beginning, or you've learned to go, you know what?
It was only a problem. When you get to a venue and the name's outside the front.
Yeah.
Tonight sold out. The editors. that was slightly, irksome, shall we say?
Yeah.
Get someone, get a stepladder, sort it out
Exactly.
now.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right, that's moved on. When you set out to be in a band, what were the kind of targets you set yourself, if there is such a thing? I mean, weirdly enough, completely different act, but Andrew Ridgeley, one half of Wham, was on the show. And he was saying it was always about, we wanted to be the biggest pop band in the world and then stop over a very short space of time. I mean, that's ambitious, right?
Yeah,
but
ambitious
it was
and
achieved by the two of them. But that was it.
I think we wanted to make kind of passionate music which connected with people on an emotional level, Right. We wanted to be a band that resonated with people that way. And to start with, when you were at Radio 1, there was a moment when we were kind of in the mainstream a bit more. And that was always a bit weird, because we've always felt of ourselves as an alternative band to make this kind of darker, more emotional music. So that's what we wanted to do. I mean, and like as we said before, like emulate those bands that have careers and take their audience on a journey and take risks with their music and not be afraid to present themselves differently, like an R.E.M., like a Radiohead,
Absolutely.
like The Cure, like those bands. And when you start out and you talk about longevity, even if you talk about it now, it's not cool, especially in this country. But I'm immensely proud of ours, you know.
I mean, that's interesting. Why would it not be cool to be successful for a period of time and to be able to relate to huge groups of people as you do over a period of time? I'm not quite sure I can understand why that would be the case.
I agree. I echo that. But I do think with the UK music press that, you know, there's more fascination on what is new, you know.
It's different in America, isn't it?
It's different in Europe for us. I mean, maybe America as well. America we've had a kind of off and on relationship with, but Europe, like, there's definitely more interest and respect for a band growing and developing, and you know, our relevance has remained there, you know.
Yeah. Mercury Music Prize nominated, first album, 2 following albums, #1 albums in the UK. I mean, that's quite a start to a career, isn't it?
Yeah, we were new and cool.
Yeah, but it is. I mean, what pressures do you remember that putting on you, if indeed at all?
I remember the second record, there was pressure to make it as quick as we can, and those songs that we went in to make that with weren't ready, and we needed a lot of help from Jack Knife Lee to bring that to life, and that was, you know, very different to the way that we made the first record, which with all bands you have your lifetime to get that ready. And then I remember after that, just, you know, when we made the third record, which is vastly different, just, I don't know, just wanting to be brave and not worry about that. And, you know, we decided to put the guitars down and make a record with Flood, and it shocked people and it put some people off. But I think without making that step, we wouldn't be here now, you know.
Well, I guess, I mean, on the 25th anniversary of Monster, that's what R.E.M. did.
Sure, yeah,
It's-
they plugged him in, plugged him in, yeah.
Yeah, and did something
Loud,
completely
yeah.
different. And that takes, I guess, you could say that takes a bravery, but actually as artists, there's two ways you can go. You can just keep doing the same thing,
Sure,
which
yeah.
isn't very challenging and not very, or you do what I guess all the artists you admired have always done.
Just try and, like, the hunt for that feeling of, I've never said that what we're doing is completely original, but you want to feel like you're doing something new for yourselves. You know, finding a new way of expressing yourself, finding a new palette musically to explore, and just to get that buzz when we're in a room in a studio recording, and we still get that. You know, it's an addictive feeling to feel like you're going, oh, we've not done it that way before. You know.
So how does it feel when there are kind of membership changes in a band and people leave?
So after the third record, we tried to make the fourth record, and we tried for a long time with Chris and with Flood. We'd been in and out of studios together in rehearsal rooms, and it just slowly petered out. You know, we couldn't get to a point that any of us were happy with. And so, yeah, about a year and a half of that going on, obviously it gets darker and darker and darker. So we had to, it was either call it a day and just say, okay, that's been a good run, but me, Russell and Ed thought we could do it without Chris. So we made that decision, and it was, it's the worst time for the band. We had a big show booked in for a couple of months down the line. So initially Justin and Elliot came in to help us with the show. It wasn't the plan for them to join the band. It was just to help us do this show. But I think in the back of our minds, we'd hoped that might happen. And we started throwing around some new songs in the rehearsals for that show. And that's what songs like Sugar and A Ton of Love, which are on this best of, became. And we realised it was going to be okay.
What emotional toll does it take? Because you always hear about these things happening and it goes, okay, they walk away and da-da-da-da. But as you just pointed out, it's 18 months of slow breakup. And, in your personal lives, that's horrible.
Yeah, sure.
You know, with a group of people, how do you rebuild?
You
asked, find Justin.
Yeah, well, that really helped, of course it helped. Realising that we could find a way of doing it again. Obviously, since then, we're a band now.
Yeah.
You're no longer the newborns, only just.
7 and a bit years.
You don't have to hand your dinner money, your per diems over, do you?
I'm all right.
Like, on tour and stuff, yeah. He doesn't do that.
It's all right now.
Good.
It's all right.
Doesn't nick your wagon wheels out your lunchbox during sound check and stuff. And going back out on the road again, how exciting is that going to be? I mean, amazing.
Next year, it's going to be wicked. I mean, we've... Part of the continued success of our band, I think, is how we are on stage. People have always responded really well to it. Even though we make miserable music, it seems to make people happy in the live environment. and that's continued. And there's energy, and hopefully we have this kind of communal feeling in the shows. And to celebrate, to be a bit nostalgic, despite my thoughts that it was a bad idea. I'm actually enjoying it now, and I think hopefully February will be a continuation of that.
Well, we want you to do a second track for us.
We'd love to.
and you're going to do Smokers outside the hospital doors, yes?
Sure, yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
If you would like to make your way towards the guitars, and then no doubt about 1,000 people will try and get into the studio in the meantime. Producer Joe, if you can, try and make sure 1,000 people do not try and get in here, but as many people as we can get in, we will get in. We're about to hear a second live track to finish off the show today from Editors. Tom Smith and Justin Lockie are here. Best of compilation, Black Gold, coming out next week, the 25th of October. Boys, Editors, Smokers outside the hospital doors, live on 5 Live. Take it away.
Pull the blindfold down so your eyes can't see. Now run as fast as you can through this field of trees. Say goodbye to everyone you've ever known. You're not gonna see them ever again. I can't shake this feeling I got. My dirty hands have I been in the walls. The saddest thing that I'd ever seen was smokers outside the hospital door. And someone turned me around. Can I start this again? How can I wait? Oh, where our smiles with our mouths wide shut. You stopped us from singing. I can't shake this feeling I got. My dirty hands have I been in the walls. The saddest thing that I'd ever seen was smokers outside the hospital doors. And someone turned me around. Can I start this again? Now someone turn us around. Can we start this again? Oh, we've all been changed from what we were. Our broken hearts smashed on the floor. We've all been changed from what we were. Our broken hearts smashed on the floor.
Yes. Thank you so much. There you go. Thank you to Tom Smith. Thank you to Justin Lockie from Editors. And as I said, the album is out. I'm right in saying this. I want to make sure I get this right, boys. It is the 25th of October.
Is that next Friday?
It is next Friday. Yeah. Perfect. We're good. We're good. Sometimes it's always a very awkward moment as a presenter when you say that, and then they both look at you and go, "No, it's not out, not out then," and then you suddenly start having to feel really weird. Okay, Nihal, I've been looking for this sound. Thank you. Wow. When you come onto 5 Live, you see new listeners. This is exactly what you were saying.
Job done.
This is exactly what you were saying. Please say thanks to Tom. Editors are one of the best live bands I have ever seen. 13 gigs and counting. A fan from the first album. Dark and interesting music. Brilliant frontman, says Andy in Ravensthorpe.
Awesome. Thanks, Andy.
I know.
Great.
Changing people's lives out here. Changing people's lives out here. And buying really specialist merchandise as well from his favourite bands. And we will get you that. Don't worry, we'll get you that recording of that. Okay, what's coming up next week? Well, we've got some unbelievable guests on.